Hello everyone, at 1995 here in the video game fanfic plot with a new chapter for you all. In Attack on Prime, remember I do not own the Transformers Prime series or the Attack on Titan, and I give full credit to its author Milishade on Wattpad and fanfiction.net. Now onto the story, Coup D'eat Part 2. Megatron's optics snapped open from another one of his gruesome nightmares. He blinked and found himself looking up at this twisted Earth's starry sky. He alive. He's still alive. He sat up and rubbed his optics in irritation before leaning against a tree. The ex-con glanced over to see Optimus asleep in his bipedal mode, his back facing him. Megatron sighed and looked back at the sky. This was hard, this was extremely hard. He was trying so hard to prove that he could be an ally to Optimus. He was trying to get Optimus to trust him. But the humans were so infuriating. He couldn't get along with them. He didn't harm the ones on their side at the very least, but Optimus was still willing to kill him if he used excessive violence. Megatron groaned in irritation. All he wants is to fix the damage between them, but 4 million years of damage wasn't going to be fixed overnight. He still wants to do something meaningful, something that doesn't end up harming another. Megatron picked up some yelling followed by a long bang in the castle. He recognized it to be the mad scientist and sighed. What was that human on about now? Hanji slammed the chair into the floor before stomping on the pieces of wood. After her little chat with Sans, she needed to blow off some steam. She ended up going to the dining hall and start breaking the tables and chairs in her sight. So far she broke a table and 3 chairs. And after stomping on the one in her possession, she grabbed the leg of the chair and threw it at the door. Megatron opened the door with the holoform and caught the leg. The ex-con looked at the damage the human made and was not amused. Mad scientist, Megatron spoke. What? Hanji shouted as she quickly turned. She recognized his holoform and grimaced. What the hell do you want? I can hear your obnoxious screaming from outside, Megatron answered. Because there was a bug. Hanji yelled, a huge-ass cockroach that needed to be squashed. You are a terrible liar, mad scientist, Megatron remarked as he crossed his arms. I'm not mad. Hanji declared. Do I look mad? You know what, don't answer that. Instead, get the fuck out. Hanji walked over to Megatron and tried to push him out of the room, but with no result. Megatron merely raised an eyebrow at her and her futile efforts. He grabbed her by the collar before closing the door behind him. He grabbed a chair that was still intact and set her down before grabbing one for himself and sitting in front of her with his legs crossed. Talk, Megatron ordered. No, Hanji refused. Talk. Fuck you, Hanji hissed. Are you trying to test my patience? Megatron demanded. Hanji merely responded by flipping Megatron off. Her heart stopped when Megatron shot up and grabbed one of her hands. He then grabbed her face and forced her to look him dead in the eye. I can break your servos right now, Megatron declared. I can torture you in multiple ways and break your neck with ease before another word comes out of your mouth. You think I give a shit? Hanji questioned. I've seen people get eaten alive for the past 6 years of my life. Your words mean nothing to me. Megatron raised an skeptic eyebrow while Hanji looked at the hand gripping hers. Has anyone ever told you your holoform hands are cold? Hanji asked. Something is troubling you, Megatron stated as he let Hanji go. Something might be, Hanji shrugged. I think the state of this room would beg to differ, Megatron retorted as he sat down. Why do you care? Hanji demanded. You don't give a shit about humans, and if Optimus weren't here, you'd be long gone. Optimus won't let me leave, Megatron retorted, so that makes us both in situations we don't want to be in. Hanji laughed. That's funny. You're funny. Because you could easily defeat Optimus and leave at any given opportunity. You're stronger than him, and you have that stupid dark energon shit in your systems. And while you get to leave at any given opportunity, humanity is stuck here. Optimus is stuck here. While me, Erwin, and Levi, or whoever the fuck is still alive have been slaving away and sacrificing our soldiers to find a sliver of hope, We're being shamed and vilified by those ungrateful citizens. And those fucking bastards knew. They all knew and killed others for knowing the truth. They let us die and I hope they burn in hell." Angie yelled as she grabbed her chair and threw it at the wall. She huffed while Megatron looked at her with an unreadable expression. "Why are you here?" Angie asked. "Really?" "I tried recharging, but couldn't over your incessant yelling," Megatron answered. "Well, I'm sorry, Your Majesty," Angie drawled out as she mockingly bowed. "Not everyone can sleep with a clear mind or indulge in slaughter like you can." "And how is your situation any different from Optimus?" Megatron demanded. "He's stranded on this world, sacrificing his life for you without any hesitation, and you repay him by intentionally going behind his back to steal his secrets." Angie sighed. "That's different." "Then explain," Megatron ordered. "All right, Buckethead," Angie hissed, when Optimus strolled in with his guns and knives, killing over 100 Titans in a couple of hours and says I'm here to help humanity out of the goodness of my spark. Not only that, but there's a world full of Titans like him and you and whatever you guys are. Might I add you two are still holding grudges against each other after a 4 million-year war. Erwin needed as much information on him as possible to confirm that he wasn't out to kill us. And you better not tell me you wouldn't have done the same thing." Megatron watched as Angie kicked the broken table before walking over to the wall and sitting down on the floor. "You can leave," Angie sneered. "I won't yell anymore, so you can just go back to your beauty sleep." Angie glanced up at the ceiling before closing her eyes. She expected the ex-con to just leave the room or deactivate his holoform. Instead, she yelped as Megatron grabbed her arm and pulled her to her feet. "If I was anything like my old self, then you would be dead," Megatron remarked. "Well, you haven't met Levi," Angie retorted. "Guy hits me on the head for no damn reason." Megatron hummed in response. "Has Optimus told you about that monkey titan?" "Wait, what?" Angie exclaimed. "You saw it?" "It tried to kill me," Megatron explained as he sat down. "Well, why didn't you say anything?" Angie demanded. "Because Optimus wouldn't believe me if I told him, and he doesn't want me around any of you humans," Megatron answered. "Well," Angie began before pulling out her notebook, "it would be great you told me." Megatron an eyebrow while Angie grabbed a chair and dragged it in front of Megatron before sitting down. "I'd be happy to know," Angie grinned. Megatron thought this was weird. This human was definitely strange. He just tried to kill her a few minutes ago and she seemed to completely gloss that over. "I don't have much to offer." "Some is better than nothing, especially in humanity's situation," Angie proclaimed. "Fine, I'll enlighten you," Megatron sighed. It should get her mind off of whatever she was angry about. Ren woke up to a loud crash a couple of minutes ago and realized that it was from downstairs. Ren sat up and looked around to see most of his friends were still sleeping. He stood up and walked over their sleeping forms before making his way down the steps. As he made his way down to the first floor, he started to her mumbling, as if someone was having a conversation. Ren followed the noise up another set of stairs to a closed door. He heard Angie, but was a little unsure who the other person was. He took a deep breath and opened the door. "Squad leader, I heard yelling earlier. Are you?" Ren stopped himself short when he saw Megatron's holoform sitting cross-legged in a chair while Angie was talking to him. Ren felt anger rise in him as he held onto the door. "What's he doing here?" Ren demanded. "We're having a discussion about the monkey titan," Megatron answered as Angie showed her notebook. "Why would you tell about that?" Ren exclaimed. "He said he ran into him," Angie explained, "oddly enough, right after Optimus beat the crap out of him." "Either way, half of the information was stolen," Megatron added. "You don't get a say in this," Ren shouted as he slammed the door shut. Ren noticed that Megatron was looking at him like he had a third eye. "Are you threatening me?" "Ren, I think you should go," Angie declared as she stood up and walked over to him. "No, mad scientist, let's see what the Prime's pet has to say," Megatron said with a smirk on his face. Bet? Ren growled as he lunged for the ex-con, but Hanji pulled him back. Can we please not do this right now? Hanji pleaded before looking at Ren, and stop trying to get yourself killed. I'm not a pet, you bastard. Ren declared. The way you follow Optimus around refutes that, Megatron retorted. I swear I'll. You'll what? Megatron challenged as he stood up, transform into a Titan and kill everyone in this stone castle. Are you really that blind and rage you would sacrifice your own comrades? Besides, that flimsy form wouldn't even last a second against me. I'll kill you. Just you watch, Ren declared, I'm not some weak child. Megatron chuckled as he leaned over to Ren's level. Oh, but you are. You wouldn't have lasted a second against the armored one if Optimus and I weren't there. You would have been captured right about now. And don't forget, I've been fighting a lot longer than you. You wouldn't stand a chance. I hate you, Ren hissed. You hate me because you know I'm right, Megatron declared as he straightened himself out. No, Ren retorted. Megatron raised an eyebrow as he looked back. So you have an unreasonable anger towards me? I haven't done anything wrong to you or your friends. Fear, I understand. Look, Ren's just being a little shit because he's going through puberty, Hanji interrupted. Don't defend him, Megatron ordered, I know rage when I see it. Now tell me, why do you hate me so much? Ren don't fucking answer. Because you made Optimus suffer, Ren declared. A dead silence filled the room. Hanji's eyes went back and forth from Ren and Megatron, waiting for something bad to happen. Ren, on the other hand, felt a nicking feeling drop in his stomach when Megatron's amused expression turned into one of anger. I made Optimus suffer, Megatron remarked in an ominous tone. Well, that is something that I won't deny, but your ignorance has truly led you to believe that Optimus was the only one that suffered out of the both of us. But since you want me to enlighten you in order to satisfy that foolish bloodlust of yours, I will. I did destroy Cybertron, I killed millions of beings, both Cybertronian and human. I am responsible for creating chaos throughout the universe and causing the revival of Unicron. Does that satisfy you? Ren didn't respond out of fear. Megatron gritted his teeth as his response and grabbed his face and forced Ren to look him dead in the eye. Does that satisfy your tongue, boy? Megatron demanded. Hey, we should stop before everyone wakes up, Hanji cut in again. You will stay out of this, Megatron hissed as he glared at her. Hanji ended up raising her hands and surrender before backing away. Megatron grabbed Ren's shirt collar and brought him to his face. But it only matters about Optimus and how he feels. It doesn't matter that Optimus sided with the Council, the same government that subjugated my people into disgusting conditions and manual labor. The Council that let us die without a second thought while they sold our parts. It doesn't matter that Optimus used me to take the title of Prime for himself. It doesn't matter that Optimus betrayed our movement, my trust for power. Bullshit. Ren retorted. The only reason that you consider it as such is because you have an emotional attachment to him. Megatron declared as he dropped Ren, you adore him. And while Optimus has actually been helping humanity, you are nothing more than dead weight trying to pluck at straws. I've helped humanity more than you. Ren countered. By moving a rock. Bravo. Megatron mocked as he slowly clapped. Optimus could have easily moved something like that twice his size. He's been helping killing Titans and actually capturing Lionheart. I'm not even here for a day and I managed to kidnap that pathetic creature you call humanity's greatest threat. That doesn't mean you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart. Ren retorted. That may be true, but doesn't excuse the fact that you've done nothing to help humanity move forward or even pose as a threat to your enemies. Megatron declared, I consider Prime's 3 human children more of a threat than you. You can't use your powers correctly, you don't know where you received it, and you have to be saved by Optimus or some other human. You were never humanity's hope. Optimus is. Everything special about you came out of a bottle. You are just as worthless as any other human on this miserable rock, and your existence will amount to nothing. Ren finally snapped and tried to punch Megatron in the face, but Megatron caught the arm and twisted it before shoving Ren in the wall. Hanji tried to intervene, but Megatron grabbed her collar and moved her aside. But if you truly want to know why I did what I did, why I've become a monster, why Optimus and I hate each other so much, look at both sides of the story. Then come up with your own conclusion. Ren stumbled with his footing as the holoform let go and disappeared from his sights. Ren took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down as Levi kicked the door open. What happened? Levi demanded as he pulled out a knife. Where's Four Eyes? Levi heard a whining noise and saw Hanji on the ground in a ball quietly screeching. He then grabbed Ren by the ear. Explain to me what happened or you're going to end up like those chairs. The next day, Nifa was filling out the reports she received from Erwin while Levi and Hanji were bickering about what happened last night. After Levi and Ren had a little chat, Levi ended up dragging him back to where the cadets were. Hanji decided to tell Optimus that they needed to talk about the plan of overthrowing the government. She noticed Megatron seemed to be ignoring the both of them, completely silent. She wasn't sure if that disturbed her or not, or whether or not he was going to snap. So what do we do about last night? Not say anything? Levi asked. That really seems like the best option right now, Hanji answered. Well, what if Buckethead does something because he's pissed off at the brat? Levi questioned. I don't think he would do anything that would piss off Optimus, Hanji theorized. Optimus is the reason that he's staying here in the first place. Damn it, you better be right, Levi scowled. The door opened as Optimus' holoform walked in and sat down. Optimus, how do you sleep? Hanji asked with a fake smile. Hanji, what did you say to Megatron? Optimus demanded. I'll tell you later while Four Eyes updates the recruits, Levi cut in as he sat down in a chair. Nifa. Oh, right, Nifa said as she got her papers in order, the plan will be executed today. The Reeves Company will still pretend to be on the side of the king as they hand over Ren and Historia. We follow them to the final destination point so they can lead us to Historia's biological father, Rod Rice. Everyone on Rod Rice's side will most likely be high-ranking officials to the Fritz royal family. Erwin said to figure out if the royal family has been using another method to fight against the Titans. If not, then we arrest them and place Historia on the throne. Are you sure putting Historia on the throne is the best option? Optimus asked. She is still too young. We don't really have another option, Hanji retorted. Military command and power would be dangerous and having no ruler would lead to anarchy. But Historia has not been raised to be a ruler, Optimus countered. Monarchies usually have councils, and the council may end up being run by the Survey Corps. We'll figure that out once we get to that point, Levi declared. We just need to arm the cadets and remaining veterans in case if we get ambushed. And what of Commander Erwin? Optimus asked. If your team is caught, the monarchy will most likely go after Erwin and have him executed. If that happens, the Survey Corps may be completely finished. Hanji sighed. We were thinking about splitting you and Megatron up. You and I go and watch Erwin, make sure he's safe, while Megatron goes with Levi. No, Optimus stated bluntly. For fuck's sake, Prime, we need the resources we can get, Levi declared. If you go into Cena, people might recognize you after that Annie fiasco. No one knows who Buckethead is. He's just a rumors right now, and we can use that to our advantage. And letting him stay with what remains of the Survey Corps without any supervision might end up getting you all killed, Optimus retorted. He is a hazard. Levi sighed in irritation. Four Eyes, Nifa, get the recruits ready. Nifa gathers her papers and Hanji grabbed her by the arm and quickly pulled her out of the room. I am not doing this, Optimus declared as she stood up. You think I'm all on board with having that demon come with us? Levi questioned. I'm not exactly fond of having a casual conversation with the vessel of the devil himself, but we are running out of time. There has to be another solution to this, Optimus said. You two can't both be in the same area, Levi proclaimed. we may have more of a chance of being caught with two Titans in the same location. Hanji said it would be better if you two were in different locations. We'll be able to relay information faster. That doesn't excuse the fact that the children are going to be in danger, Optimus said. Then tell Megatron not to, Levi suggested. You think he's going to listen to humans? The only person he actually listens to is you. I don't know what he's doing, but he is trying to get you to listen. He's been trying to regain my trust, Optimus explained, but I cannot trust him. Not after everything. Levi sighed. Then let me put it this way, if you come with us, we might up killing humans. We might get ambushed and we may have to defend ourselves, and killing the enemy is the only option. Levi noticed Optimus clenching his fists but continued anyway. I know you have an oath about protecting humans, but if it comes down to it, would you be willing to kill the people you swore to protect? I would, Optimus proclaimed. But you might hesitate, Levi retorted. Megatron won't. You and I both know that. And what if Megatron does try to harm you? Optimus asked. I try to stall for time until the cadets can get to safety, Levi answered. Optimus sat down and rubbed his head in irritation. I am truly sorry for all of this. It's fine, Levi said, we just have to make do with what we have. By the way, there's something I need to tell you regarding last night. It's about Tren. Megatron grabbed another rock with his claws and flicked it down to the ravine. He watched it splash in the water before grabbing another and flinging it too. He trying to calm himself after that brat thought he had the right to tell him off. He didn't. The only one in this godforsaken universe who has that right is Optimus. He knew that what he's done was wrong, but that Sparkling knew nothing of why he did what he did. The ex-con heard large footsteps but didn't bother to look behind him because he knew it was Optimus. What do you want? Megatron demanded. I need your help, Optimus answered. Megatron cackled as he glanced behind him. Really, you need my help? Megatron, I understand that you are upset with me, Optimus began as he sat down next to him on the ledge of the ravine. Your field is radiating anger and frustration. And why would you care? Megatron asked before chuckling. I mean, you've been trying to kill me. And you haven't? Optimus retorted. Fair enough, Megatron said as he grabbed another rock. So what is this thing that you want me to help you with? We are going to overthrow the current monarchy and replace it with another ruler, Optimus answered. Megatron stopped himself from throwing the rock and looked at the Prime. You want the both of us to overthrow a government? The last time we tried that we started a war. What makes you so sure that this will work this time? We will not make the same mistakes we have before, Optimus declared. We will not start another war. So this isn't about talking with the council. You will overthrow it with force this time, Megatron assumed. Optimus nodded his head, causing Megatron to chuckle. This is definitely not your style. So tell me, what do you wish for me to do? I need you to go with Levi, Optimus answered. He and his team will follow Ren and Historia's captors to Rod Rice, the mastermind behind this government. Once you get there, you may either kill him and his team or capture him. Didn't think you'd allow me to kill humans, Megatron remarked, and what will you do? The commander needs to be guarded, and Miss Zoe and I will do that, Optimus answered. Miss Zoe will brief you on where you will meet up with Captain Levi before we head off. I suppose there is a condition, Megatron assumed as he looked at Optimus. Your job is to protect the Survey Corps, Optimus declared as he stood up, and you cannot harm any of them. If I find out that you have harmed any of them, you'll kill me, dismantle me to prevent Unicron, and anything to prevent a third apocalyptic disaster. I get it, Megatron listed. I'll do the job. Optimus eyed Megatron as he stood up and worked on getting the dirt out of his digits. Megatron, why are you agreeing to do this? Because I have nothing else to do, Megatron answered. Listening to the silence of space loses its luster after a while. Optimus knew that Megatron was lying to him. He knew, but he didn't pry. That wasn't his issue. His issue was to make sure that the Survey Corps succeeded, or humanity was doomed. Megatron tapped fingers of the holoform on his arm as he waited for the mad scientist outside the castle to brief him on where to meet up with the captain and his team. He wasn't exactly fond of this, but he had to do this. He had to do it for Optimus. No matter how annoying these humans were. Angie opened the door and looked around before she walked up to the ex-warlord with her hands behind her back. Hey! About what happened with Ren, he's just a little shit ant. Mad scientist, I am not interested in that, Megatron interrupted, just tell me where to meet up with the team, and I'll be on my way. Okay, Angie trailed off, you'll be going to the Stohus district. It's one of those walled towns south of the capital. Levi and a couple of others will be scouting the city and watching for signs of the government's first response transporting Ren and Historia. I told the cadets to load a sword and shield for you since you're skilled with that kind of combat. Anything else you want me to do, state it now, Megatron ordered. Angie stuttered as she tried to deny it, but Megatron was clearly not having it. Megatron grabbed her cheeks and forced her to look at him. Spit it out. All right, I need you to test these, Angie requested and pulled out 2 pistols. They're the new models we've been working on, but we didn't get the chance to test it. I was hoping you would. Because there's no repercussion if the pistol breaks on me because it won't do any permanent damage, Megatron assumed as he let her go. Pretty much, Angie admitted, so will you do it? Megatron sighed as he snatched the 2 pistols away. I am irritated that you keep asking me to do favors. I will take that as a yes, Angie smiled, thank you, and I'll be heading out. Megatron watched as Angie put on her cloak before running back inside to grab her remaining item. He then looked down at the guns and sighed. He couldn't carry this in his alt mode. The weapons would most likely get crushed, he had to give it to someone. But who? The dwarf was clearly cautious of him and the other children feared him. Expect for one. Mikasa was currently in the horse's den getting the items ready for their mission. She loaded the cart with weapons before noticing the sword Angie had told her to pack. Mikasa slightly unsheathed the sword and raised an eyebrow in confusion. No one used these swords anymore. Who would use this? Mikasa placed the item back in the cart before she grabbed the saddle and placed it on the horse. She began to tighten the harness, but stopped when she felt a shadow loom over her. She glanced back to see Megatron standing behind her. I thought you'd be at the Stohus district, Mikasa remarked as she finished adjusting the saddle. Well, I had something I need to take care of, Megatron said. And what's that? Mikasa asked. Megatron showed Mikasa the 2 pistols. I need you to hold on to these until we arrive at the next location. Mikasa looked down at the 2 pistols before looking back at Megatron. Why ask me? Why not the captain? The dwarf doesn't trust me, and everyone else fears me, Megatron answered. The only one here that seems to tolerate my existence is you. Unless you have some sort of hidden hatred for me. You haven't harmed any of my friends, Mikasa said, so you can consider us on mutual terms. Megatron raised an eyebrow in amusement. Mutual terms? Then what happens if I decide to kill all of your friends? I have to fight you, Mikasa answered as she looked him in the eye. You know you can't kill me, Megatron countered. Better to die fighting than dying like a coward, Mikasa declared. Megatron chuckled, you're amusing, Ackerman. You still haven't shown me what you're capable of. Maybe you'll get to see later, Mikasa reassured as she took the pistols from his hands. Then I will see you on the battlefield, Megatron smirked as he deactivated the holoform. Mikasa heard Megatron flying away before looking back at the sword in the cart. At least she knew who it was for now. Optimus and Angie watched as Megatron flew off towards the Stohus district. Angie adjusted her 3D gear and coat before looking up at Optimus. Let's go big guy. Optimus transformed into his alt mode and Angie jumped inside before they drove off towards Trost. Kenny and his crew arrived at the old mining operation where the Reeves Company have been harboring Ren and Historia for 2 days. He knows that the merchant was lying and was ordered to deal with him, but he needed to make sure that everything else was set before they transported the two back to Rod. He called for Reeves to speak in private while his crew went to check if the two kids were armed. "So is this the part where I get paid?" Reeves demanded. "You merchants are always so greedy," Kenny remarked. "You still don't have that supply we asked for. The rocks. There was an accident and it ended up falling down a ravine," Reeves explained. "You're still unreliable even when given a job," Kenny groaned. "By the way, do you know about Levi Ackerman?" "Levi Ackerman?" Reeves questioned. "First time I've heard the name, but sounds like Captain Levi of the Survey Corps. Guy's been out to kill me ever since I got those two." "Well, that midget is my pride and joy. Taught him everything he knows," Kenny admitted. "Guess that's the reason that I'm stuck in this situation in the first place." Before Reeves could question what he was talking about, Kenny covered his mouth and slit his throat with a knife. Kenny let his body fall to the ground as he began to bleed out. "Just as you predicted, Ren and Historia were equipped with knives," his assistants informed him. "The others are dead as well." "What a shame," Kenny began. "The Survey Corps is going rogue and killing innocent people." "It is a shame indeed," she agreed. Erwin was pouring himself a drink of water in the Survey Corps District Division in Trust when Hanji and Optimus came walking in through the door. "The mission is in progress, right?" Erwin asked. "Yep," Hanji answered, "and we need to get you to a safe location. If we are really doing this, then we need to protect you if things go south. I'll go get your things." Erwin sighed as Hanji went into the other room. He looked behind him to see Optimus staring outside the window. "Do you have any knowledge of why Rod wants both Ren and Historia?" "The only reason I can come up with is that Rod will use them for their own benefit," Optimus assumed, "possibly controlling what is left of humanity." "Is Berthold contained properly?" Erwin asked. "Berthold is contained at the core current, or now previous hideout," Optimus explained. "The dark energon in his body is immobilizing him, but he may end up dying before we can yield results." "Where's Megatron?" Erwin asked. "He is in Cena with Levi and the others," Optimus answered. "Are you sure that's safe?" Erwin asked. "No," Optimus admitted, "I do not want the Survey Corps to suffer because of my decision. Because I am unsure of what Megatron wants or why he has decided to remain here." "Hanji thinks it's because of you," Erwin said. "Which makes the situation worse if he decides to attack humanity," Optimus retorted. "So if you use Optimus for your own selfish benefit, I guarantee that you will die, but not before you watch the rest of humanity die right before your eyes." Erwin remembered Megatron's threat before groaning. "Optimus, I may not have been completely honest with you." "Are you referring to the information that Miss Zoe wrote in her notebook regarding my history?" Optimus questioned. "I am aware, but that is not my concern at the moment." "That's not it," Erwin proclaimed. "I've had a different motivation for joining the Survey Corps." Optimus looked at Erwin in confusion. "What are you talking about?" Before Erwin could respond, Hanji came walking back in with another soldier. "Erwin, there's a problem. There's been some murder in the middle of the town. Military policemen are there right now." "Murder?" Optimus questioned. "The government may be framing us," Erwin declared. "You two need to go." "Go where? What about you?" Hanji demanded. "I'll act as the face of the Survey Corps for right now," Erwin answered as he put on his jacket. "What will happen to the Survey Corps if you are killed?" Optimus asked as he stepped forward. Erwin turned his gaze to Hanji. "If anything happens to me, the next commander of the Survey Corps will be you, Hanji Zoe." Hanji was in complete shock as Erwin made his way out the door into the town square. "Hanji, did you bring one of the weapons with you?" Optimus demanded. "Yes," Hanji answered. "What do you need it for?" "I have already seen how this ends before," Optimus began as he phased a black coat for a replacement for his jacket. "The Survey Corps will be framed and Erwin will be killed in order to silence any others who wish to start a revolution." "We can't just take Erwin from the military police," Hanji retorted. "That's crazy." "That is exactly what I will do," Optimus declared as he put on the hood. Give me the pistol and meet me at my alt mode. Erwin stood up after he reassured the town folks that Reeves would be avenged for his death, but he may not get the chance. The government already created a story that framed the Survey Corps. The only way to prove they were innocent is if the entire Corps made an appearance. He didn't know if that included Optimus or not, but he knew that the military police planned this. They planned this in order to get rid of them. Erwin, you need to get in the carriage, the policeman ordered. Erwin internally sighed. He needed to comply or the Corps would be in bigger trouble. Erwin made his way towards the carriage, feeling his steps getting heavy as he got closer. Everything that he worked for was about to go down the drain. Erwin was about to grab the door, but a loud gunshot went off and destroyed the handle. Erwin looked around with wary eyes as the entire crowd completely panicked and started running for their lives. Everyone calm down. A policeman yelled before getting shot in the shoulder. Erwin ran over to the man and applied pressure on the wound as the other policeman was shot in leg. Listen to me. Stay calm and breathe. Erwin ordered the policeman he was with, control your breathing and you'll. Erwin felt something smack him in the head before he lost consciousness. Stohus District, 2 days later. The cadets were guarding the horses and supplies while the veterans were watching for any signs of the first government response transporting Aren and Historia. The cadets were waiting patiently while being wary of. Hey, does anyone else find it weird that the most powerful Titan is just casually getting ready for battle? Connie whispered. The cadets eyed Megatron as he placed the sword on his back and tightened the strap while talking in a language they couldn't understand. They weren't really sure, but he sounded agitated. A little bit, Sasha hissed. They're in advanced race, Armin retorted. He's probably speaking in his own language to Optimus, since they can communicate through long distances. What's so important that they have to speak in a different language? Connie hissed. Gene walked back to the den from the crowd nearby with a rather despondent look. He handed Armin a sheet of paper with Levi's face on it. They were passing these out. Armin read the paper and saw that it read the Survey Corps were murderers and that Erwin has been kidnapped. How did Erwin get kidnapped? Armin questioned. Why did Erwin get kidnapped? I don't know, Gene admitted, but we're all now officially outlaws. Outlawed by our own species. At least the captain won't carelessly attack the people who are after us, Armin retorted. Maybe if we play this as safe as possible, we can get the information from Rod Rice we need in order to get Ren's skin to harden. Megatron's eye twitched in irritation and the sound of that brat's name before looking outside of the alleyway to check if there were anyone spying on them. Still, when it comes down to it, are we really going to kill people? Use violence when Levi asks us to? Gene demanded. What he did with Historia was completely uncalled for, especially after he acted so nicely to Reeves. Probably did it so she'll be easier to control when she does become ruler, Sasha added. We joined the Survey Corps to give our hearts to humanity, not become thugs, Gene hissed. But the Allspark, you children are ridiculous, Megatron drawled out in irritation as he leaned against a wooden support beam. Ridiculous? Gene questioned. We're going against our own government. The same government that wouldn't hesitate to feed you all to those creatures if it suited them, Megatron retorted. They only care for the money in their pockets, the feeling of power and control. As long as they have that, they don't care about anyone else. And would kill you all regardless of age and innocence, or make you suffer in a much more gruesome way. Like you've done for 4 million years? Gene spat out. Yes, Megatron bluntly stated, that's why I'm able to see inside their heads and not think so narrow-mindedly. Ask Optimus. He knows just as well as I that this coup d'etat isn't going to work. What are you talking about? Armin asked. Discussing a treaty or compromise isn't going to work because you have nothing to offer them, Megatron explained, and having only a dozen soldiers overthrow a government won't be enough because the media is twisting the truth. Everyone blindly puts their trust into something that makes them feel secure. So do we just somehow overthrow the government and replace it with something else entirely? Gene exclaimed, that's ridiculous. It's the best solution, Megatron declared, Just because a system is there, doesn't mean it's the best for the people. They need something better. And what would that be, Tin Can? Sasha demanded. Fear? Hope, Megatron stated as he stood up. Give the people a chance to believe in a better tomorrow. A little cliche for someone like me, but it is unfortunately true. Ackerman, the gun. The cadets watched in disbelief as Mikazu grabbed one of the pistols from the cart and causally threw it to him. The ex-con caught it before placing it under his sleeve. Once you start hearing gunfire, make sure to head for the nearest exit, Megatron addressed Mikazu. Mikazu nodded her head as Megatron climbed over the den and onto the rooftop before disappearing from their sights. Mikazu, what the hell? Jean exclaimed, you just gave the guy a gun. He can kill us without one, Mikazu reminded. That's not the point. Mikazu, why are you trusting him so easily? Jean demanded, you tried to kill Optimus the moment you saw him, and you're suddenly just casual with the guy who took down the Colossal Titan. Wouldn't it be better to make friends with someone like that instead of giving him more of a reason to hate us? Mikazu rhetorically asked. Jean was about to retort, but realized Mikazu had a point and closed his mouth. I'm still being careful, Mikazu proclaimed, but showing Megatron that humanity is worth something may give him more of a reason to stay and fight. But he's killed humans before, Armin retorted. He fought Optimus for control over a world full of humans and nearly killed them all. He could have killed us, but he didn't, Mikazu countered. That's some sign that Megatron isn't entirely crazy. Either way, we don't exactly have any other option. The cadets looked at each other and groaned while Sasha commented, our lives fucking suck. Nifa watched through the telescope as two coffins were being loaded into a carriage. That's Ren and Historia alright, unless the first squad is a thing for sleeping with corpses. Levi observed as Nifa continued to spy on them when he heard a thump behind him. Levi quickly grabbed his blade but stopped when he saw Megatron's holoform sit down behind the chimney. You have good reflexes, Megatron commented. Levi groaned in irritation. Why aren't you on another roof? Because you're apparently not expendable, Megatron answered as he showed Levi the paper. You have more value than the commander. Makes it more difficult to show my face, Levi added as Megatron crumbled up the paper and threw it off the roof. I'm assuming it troubles you that I'm not Optimus, Megatron remarked. I don't care if you're Optimus, Levi proclaimed, I care about your motive. Even when you don't seem to be killing, you've got some secret motive you won't bother to share with anyone. And why should I share that motive with a dwarf like you? Megatron demanded. Because this dwarf is going to take out your eyes if you try anything stupid, Levi hissed as he pulled out his blade and shoved it in Megatron's face. This didn't impress the warlord as he pushed the blade away. I've already experienced death, your threat means nothing to me. Levi grimaced, putting his blade away and watching the cart. He had to focus on the task right now. Megatron wasn't trying anything, so he could focus his mind in the right place. The ex-con eyed the cart beginning to move when he heard someone step on the roof. Megatron widened his eyes when he saw the man was equipped with 3D gear, aiming his guns at both Levi and Nifa. He quickly moved to action and grabbed Levi while kicking Nifa away from them. Levi was about to elbow Megatron, but gasped when he saw something blue pass his eyes. Levi looked down at the ground to see Nifa had fallen off the roof. She seemed bruised, but was still alive. Levi grunted as Megatron pulled him behind the chimney when another shot was aimed at the both of them. The captain heard a scream and saw two of the remaining veterans shot off of the roof. Levi stared in complete horror as their bodies seemed to be eaten away as Megatron pulled out the pistol. Hey, Levi, a voice called out as Megatron saw the man hook himself onto the chimney with a grappling hook. Look how you've grown. Levi gritted his teeth as the man flew into the air and aimed his weapon at the both of them. On second thought, it doesn't seem like you've changed much. The man said. Kenny. Levi shouted as he unsheathed his blades. Well, that's the ending of that chapter. I do hope you enjoy this video. If you like to see more, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below. Until next time.